That's what we're inside, folks. A novelty-making machine. Now, what do I mean by novelty? People say, you mean like little plastic bugs and puzzles inside plastic capsules? Is that what you mean by novelty? No, you idiot. Of course not. I'm a little off balance because I held a weekend at Esalen 2 weeks ago, and you know they allow the people who participate in the workshops to evaluate people, and I got dinged. And somebody wrote an evaluation and said Terence McKenna is the William Buckley of the psychedelic left.
Good God!
And he needs to learn to listen. So you'll see me doing or trying to do a lot of listening this weekend.
Whoever went into the ashram with their knees knocking with terror over what the next yoga session would bring? I mean, give me a break.
The New Age is well, new anything means you should put one hand over your wallet and the other hand over your asshole. But and so think about it.
I have been vegetarian for long periods in my life. Now I sort of follow the hippie philosophy that your body knows what it wants, even if it's a Snicker. The deeper wisdom of the body. The tykes want to initiate you. They have a message. And the message is, you can do what we are doing. And what they're doing is using their voices to make physical objects condense out of the air. And they're saying, you can do this. Do it. Do it. Do it.
That's it. By the water of Babylon, Babylon. Will you still love me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64? So then you turn this over to a straight therapist or something, and they say, you know, this is clearly an antediluvian projection from the collective. Well, I don't know. Silence, stoicism, the ability to sit on a point while other guys go behind the animals and drive them towards you, quiet over long periods of time, this sort of thing. In other words, it's not an environment that would induce you to great feats of oral poetry. I mean, you started that, I think everybody was like, shh, cool it, you know. But I got onto the source, and you know, on the source you can word search the membership for interests. So I typed out drugs, and it came back and said there were 850 people on the network who had written that drugs were an interest of theirs. So then I started checking. I said, okay, drugs without sex and rock and roll. Came back 4 people. So I didn't solve all my affinity group problems. You can interrupt at any time with a question, and I'm not entirely clear on who I'm talking to, whether I'm talking to hallucinogen enthusiasts, anthropologists, epidemiologists, psychologists, the police. So there is another factor enhancing the reproductive strategy, which is more instances and more vigorous instances of enthusiastic copulation. Hello? I'm not into the white guy at the front of the room with all the answers trip. It's just unfortunate that I have the body I do. I'm actually a lesbian trapped in a man's body, but I've done the very best with that I could, which hasn't been bad, let me tell you.
I mean, we live in a culture where people regularly jump out of airplanes for recreational pleasure. That's the kind of culture we live in. And yet DMT has not made its way very deeply into that culture. I mean, if what people want is thrills, my God, are there thrills still untapped? However, I've noticed the surrender issue works here. I've talked to people who sailed solo around the world, climbed the north face of Everest, shot the rapids on the Mekong, and so forth. And so say, oh, well, you're a real hairy-chested guy. Would you like to smoke some DMT? And, absolutely ashen. No, absolutely not. Are you crazy? That stuff's dangerous. I said, well, what about the time you parachuted into Kilimanjaro at the 22,000-foot level? Said, well, I knew what I was doing. It was, I was in, so, I don't know, different thrills for different folks. And what they're doing is using their voices to make physical objects condense out of the air. And they're saying, you can do this. Do it. Do it. Do it!